Welcome back to Green is Good. And today we've got my good friend and longtime friend, Debbie Levin. She's the president of the Environmental Media Association. Welcome back to Green is Good, Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Debbie, you were not only my longtime friend, but even better than that, you're my very good friend. That when we started this little show on one station in Fresno, California, and no one wanted to come on, I called you one day, and before I even got the whole pitch out, you said, done, just put me on whenever you want, and you came on, and you helped launch the whole show, and here we are now, years later, and you're back on the show, but we even have a little bit of a fun announcement towards the end of the show today, how we're going to be teaming up together and co-hosting a special Hollywood Emma version of Green is Good at the end of March. We're going to talk about that later, but thank you for helping me launch the show, and thank you for always being such a great friend and being such a great partner with Emma. You're just the best.
Oh, well, you are the best as well. And, it's been so amazing to be able to be on this journey with you and your incredible company. And you are a corporate board member, so we can't forget about that John sits on our Emma corporate board. And just being part of the growth of the awareness of the green movement together has been so exciting to do this with you.
It's been a journey. I'll tell you that. It's been the fastest 10 years of my life, our friendship and what we've seen together and what we've done together. And I want to talk about some of the more important things. But before we even get into Emma and the journey on Emma together with my company, with what you're doing with Emma and just the brilliant work you've done and how you've evolved that organization, talk a little bit about Debbie Levin and the Debbie Levin story and how you even got involved. It's such a great story, how you got involved with Emma and you being brought in and how you've grown it since your beginnings at Emma.
It's a weird story because this is not how people normally come in and run a company. And it's a good time too because I've been running the organization for 15 years now. And I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother now, which is crazy. But I was a mom, and I had done some work in the entertainment industry and TV development, which is nothing like nonprofit development, because TV development means you read scripts.
Right.
Nonprofit development means you raise money. Really a different business. So I was like a TV person, and but mostly I was a mom to two children. And I was invited to a luncheon which was the 9th Annual Environmental Media Awards. And to put it into perspective, we're going to be celebrating our 25th Annual Environmental Media Awards this year. So it was the 9th Annual Environmental Media Awards, and it was a little luncheon at the Beverly Hilton Hotel during the day, and it was, okay, couple hundred people there. And I was a guest. I knew nothing about the organization. And to be really honest, I knew nothing about the environment. And I sat there and I started listening to the mission. And then I found out that Norman Lear, who was, pioneer of television, incredible shows like All in the Family and Maude and Good Times and all these amazing shows that I watched as a kid, then where he brought social messaging into comedy for the first time. And I found out that Norman had founded the organization, and I thought, this is the most important person in the entertainment industry, and why aren't there 9 million people here, and why isn't this a huge organization, and this is the most important message I've ever heard in my life, and somehow it's like those, if it was a cartoon, like a lightning bolt would have struck me or something, and I started asking literally a million questions to the person sitting next to me, who I had no idea was the board chair, and why aren't you guys doing this and why aren't you guys doing that? And this guy looked at me and he said, hey, can you go to lunch with me tomorrow? And I'm like, okay. And literally, he asked me to come and run the organization. I had no idea what I was doing. I walked into an office, and honestly, no one was there. There was an assistant, and what he neglected to tell me was that they they had this amazing organization with an incredible board, and, there comes a time sometimes when no one's really running something, and they don't really know what to do, and that was the time. So they didn't care, here's this curious person, let her run it. So what happened was I kind of had a few months or so to have the 10th Annual Environmental Media Awards, and it was either going to work or not. And I honestly have no idea, but I figured it out, and we had our 10th Annual Awards in the end of the year, and we honored Pierce Brosnan, who was 007 at that time, and I have no idea how I did it. And it kind of worked, and I kind of figured it out, and it was kind of amazing. And I think the main thing was that I recognized that if this movement was going to work, we needed to reach the young demographic, and it needed to be young and cool and resonate with the business community and reach pop culture. And our message was always, our mission was always to be the role model for environmental and sustainable lifestyle, and that's what we had to do. So it was really life-changing for me because I was able to be a great role model for my kids, first and foremost, and do something that I loved and that I still love.
Sometimes when you overthink something, it just never turns out. But when you act on your gut and you act on your heart, look at how this thing has turned out. And now talk a little bit about how you've grown, Emma, in all these years, and that from those humble beginnings and that immediate yes at a next day lunch to where it is today. Share a little bit about that journey, Debbie, because I've seen the last 10 years of it, and I'm blown away about who you're involved with and how you've become a force yourself in Hollywood in terms of sustainability and thought leadership. Share a little bit of how you've grown it since those humble beginnings.
What we did have with the organization was amazing founding families, and I ran with that. And our founders were Cindy and Alan Horn, and Alan runs Disney, and he ran Warner Brothers for 13 years, and he now runs Disney. And Lynn and Norman Lear, and Norman is Norman. He's amazing, and so is his wife. And we do have at this point, we built the board so that we have the head of every studio, networks. So I'm kind of a phone call away from everybody. And the foundation of that, I then thought what we really, really need is we really need the young actors. And so I created a Young Hollywood board because I felt that was really important. So we started to build boards with all of the young talent so that they would feel engaged, and started working with them on PSAs and different programs, and they get really excited about that. We also started a parent board more recently because everybody keeps having babies, and so we thought, okay, we'll move them over to a parent board and start having salons and their other missions. The other thing that we did that I think was really important is our corporate relationships are really, really important, and I was fortunate enough to meet Toyota early on, and I met Toyota at the very, very beginning of 2001 when they were ready to launch the Prius. And so we formed a relationship, and we actually are celebrating our 15th anniversary together. We launched the Prius with Toyota, and we got all the celebrities to buy Priuses, we worked with the paparazzi to take pictures of them in their cars. We got we got the talent to arrive at award shows in them, and we really tried to make the car sexy and the go-to, vehicle to be in, and really shifted the way people thought about hybrids and alternative fuel vehicles. And because of that relationship, we were written up in tons of business magazines and all kinds of.
I want to pause you right there because I'm going to speak from two places. A personal experience for our listeners to hear. You were the one who convinced me to also get involved with Toyota, so we bought all Camry hybrids back in 2007 on your suggestion for all of our salespeople, and said, go drive up and down California's roads and go land business. Well, those hybrids are still on the road in 2015, all with over 250,000 miles. That's thanks to you. Okay. And I also remember, and I have the quote here in front of me, when Fortune magazine called Emma a secret weapon for Toyota Lexus, and they gave credit to Emma and to you as single-handedly responsible for getting the droves of celebrities into Toyota hybrids. And that's a quote. That's a quote about you and Emma.
It's been pretty great. And I have to say I have such a huge respect for what the business world and what corporations like yourself and like, electronic recyclers can do, and Toyota and all the different companies. I believe that the power is with consumers in changing the way the environment looks. People make choices every day. People buy stuff every day, and that's the power that we have. And legislation is amazing, but it takes a long time. But people make these decisions with their choices in what they purchase. And we've been really strong advocates for supporting corporations that have sustainability in their corporate structure, in not only their corporate culture, but in their products as well and what they do. And by aligning ourselves with them, I think that we can literally change the world. And that's with the way social media is at this point. We use our celebrities to tweet and to use, all their different ways of communication to support those corporations. And we actually started a corporate advisory board, which you sit on, to keep all of our corporate relationships on a cohesive board and engaged with Emma and part of our community. And that's another thing that I started about, I think, like 7 years ago, because what we want to do is we want to keep all of our relationships as something that we really, really respect and cherish at Emma. So whether it is our young celebrities or our corporate executives, everybody is part of that same incredibly passionate Emma community. And everybody has a really, really strong voice in what we do and who we are, and everybody works together. And I think the combination of all of that makes us so unique. And that was, again, it was not something that I think that I had a business plan for. It all came very naturally because this is what we were doing. It all made so much sense, and it all shifted people's lifestyle. And you could see it's just kind of like when we get our celebrities, they get really excited, they become more engaged, and then they bring their friends in. So many of our celebrity board members are friends of friends of friends, and they change their entire lifestyle. They start eating organically. They start buying different kinds of food. Like you come to, their whole way of life has been informed by their involvement with our organization, and because of that, they bring in their relationships, and they tend to only buy from our sponsors products. It's amazing. We have an incredible organic mattress company, Naturepedic, who is one of our sponsors, and everyone has a Naturepedic bed, and they're amazing. It's like incredible, and earth-friendly cleaning products. Everybody's using earth-friendly cleaning products because we just talk about it. And they want to try these things because it's like we have vetted it, and so they trust us. And then it's kind of like this amazing club to belong to. Another thing that we've done, and this happened in 2003, is that we started the Emma Green Seal, and we were founded by messaging, and we were founded by the idea was to put environmental messaging into content. But what we weren't doing was paying attention to the actual physical production. And that's something that you and I have been working on for a long time in terms of e-waste.
Right.
And what happened was I actually went to the set of one of Hollywood's greenest celebrities and to visit and to actually bring them stuff for on camera, like recycling bins and canvas bags and stuff for like an on-camera set. And I'm looking around and I'm realizing that nothing is even being recycled on their set, like backstage. And I'm thinking, these people would die in their own homes if this was what was going on. And I'm looking at a trash can with a script and a banana peel and water bottles, and no one's even noticing this. So I go home and I called Ed Begley and I called Daryl Hannah and I called like all my friends and our board members, and I'm like, okay guys, this is the most embarrassing thing ever, and we need to do something about this, and we have to create something that's going to take care of the sets. And so we all got together. We had I think a network head and some producers and like a whole little committee, And we came up, and this was in 2003, we came up with like 10 easy things that the studio wouldn't yell at us about, that wouldn't cost the money, that would make a set greener. And it's now turned into the Emma Green Seal, and there are sustainability departments at every studio and criteria that they're given before they go into production, and there's 150 points that people have to make in order to get it, and we've given away over 500 Emma Green Seals to the state at this point. And we've also greened the Grammys and the Emmys and the SAG Awards, and all that happened because of an embarrassing set.
And, for our listeners out there, we've got Debbie Levin on with us. She's the president of the Environmental Media Association. You can learn more about all the great things they're doing at the Environmental Media Association at www.ema-online.org, emma-online.org. Debbie, we have a lot of things to talk about. We have a few minutes left here. Talk about a few of your most exciting initiatives for 2015 coming up, and then let's talk about our Hollywood taping coming up at the end of this March and what we're going to be doing there, where Emma and Green is Good get together to do a little Hollywood sit-down together. You and me both co-hosting Green is Good.
Well, that is the most exciting thing that's happened this year. Because I'm really excited about it, because my friends are going to sit, and we're all going to hang out, and we're going to talk about what we do.
That's going to be
really
so
excited.
much fun.
This is our 25th anniversary of the Emma Awards, so that's going to happen in October, November of this year. So that's going to be really big,
I also want to mention, you've talked about transformative brands and how you brought Toyota in. I also wanted to mention the great brand you brought in as another transformative brand. Tiffany is one of your supporters.
Yes.
And you want to share a little bit about them?
They've been with us for over 15 years as well.
And they've been really big helpful to you, right?
They've been really helpful. They do all of our gorgeous, gorgeous awards that we have for the Emma Awards.
Right.
And so they're Tiffany Awards, which is kind of amazing. And but they have all of their diamonds are no conflict, and they have an incredible sustainability mandate on a corporate level that I think that people don't really realize. And we were able to give them a corporate responsibility award, I think it was like 5 years ago. And that was great for us because people don't know this about them. They just think they're Tiffany's. It's like the little blue box. It's amazing. But they also do incredible environmental work, and it's really been wonderful for us to be able to share that with everybody.
So what are we doing together at the end of talk a little bit about Green is Good and Emma have partnered up to go Hollywood together. You and I are coasting a show. We're going to have 4 shows we're going to be taping with 12 guests. Talk a little bit about that before we sign off today.
I think we're going to bring in some of my celebrity friends who have so much to talk about.
So cool.
All of our celebrity board members are so authentic and so passionate and so smart. And they're really excited about coming on and sharing what they really care about with you guys, with you and with us.
Well, that's going to be great. With us, I'm so honored. We're going to be co-hosting together. You and I are going to be co-hosting Green is Good, Goes Emma, Goes Hollywood together at the end of March. Those shows will air and also be heard on Clear Channel and also online. We're going to be videoing those shows, so you and I will be aired together sometime in April with all those 4 shows. It's going to be so exciting, Debbie. Again, Debbie Levin, she's the president of the Environmental Media Association. She's coming on to co-host Green is Good with me. Check out more of the Environmental Media Association's great work at www.emma-online.org. Thank you, Debbie Levin, for being an inspirational thought leader in Hollywood in sustainability. You are truly living proof that green is good.